We've all seen those commercials about somebody who pulls out their phone to maybe answer a text or an email or something like that. They do it for a split second and they look back up and they crash into something, and the commercial ends and it says something like, "It can wait, texting and driving is not safe," or something like that. We've all seen them. There's a bunch going around. AT&T has done a few. They had a whole campaign about that. The government has some commercials about that. There are even some foundations about texting and driving that have done that. They're everywhere. But should you really? I mean, come on. There's no way that would happen to you, right? You can focus on both things at the same time, right? You're smarter than the people in those commercials, right? I mean, 77% of adults and 55% of teens believe that they could do both. But the thing is, everyone is at risk, no matter what age you are, no matter what gender, no matter what. Everybody is at the same risk. And hey, I'm guilty of it as much as you are. I do it too. I try not to, but I do. But today we're going to find out why you really shouldn't, and ways you can stop yourself from even doing it. So, why do we focus on our phones while driving? Why do we get that urge? Well, according to a reliable source about distracted driving, over 50% of all car crashes involve cell phone use, and 25% involve texting and driving. That's a big number. The CDC reports that up to 8 people a day in the whole country die of texting and driving incidents, and that might not seem like a lot. 8 people. There's a couple 100 million people in this country. 8 is not that much in the grand scheme of things, but in a year, that's almost 3,000 people. And most people understand the danger, right? But at any given point in a day, 660,000 people are looking at their phones while they're driving. At any point. And listen to this statistic. So, driving drunk. We know that is something that you are absolutely not supposed to do. Driving drunk is not safe in the slightest and impairs your ability to drive, right? But when you drive drunk, you increase your likelihood of crashing by 4 times. You're 4 times as likely to crash if you drive drunk. And it's the same odds if you're talking on the cell phone, right? But listen to this. If you are texting and driving, you are 8 times as likely to crash. That's crazy. 8 times. You are twice as likely to crash while texting than you are while you're driving drunk. So, drivers actually overestimate how much they can concentrate on doing both things at the same time, how much they can multitask. So, only 2.5% of people are actually good enough to do both. And you might think, oh, I'm in that 2.5%, but odds are you're probably not. And most people think they're really good multitaskers, but in actuality, most people, when they think they're multitasking, are actually having their brains just switch back and forth between both actions. So when you pull out your phone and you're typing, no part of your brain is actually focusing on the task at hand, driving. And before you know it, you look up and the person in front of you has hit their brakes and you are crashed right into them. And it may not seem like that long of a time. You pull out your phone, it takes like 5 seconds to send a text, right? But if you're going 45 miles an hour, which is the speed of most roads, that's like the generic speed, you pull out your phone for 5 seconds, going 45 miles an hour, you travel 330 feet. That's the length of a football field in 5 seconds. A lot can happen. If you're going 70 on the highway, in 5 seconds you travel 512 feet. That's almost a football field and a half. A lot can happen in those 5 seconds when you take your eyes off the road. Okay, you understand that it's dangerous, but what are some real pragmatic ways, or real pragmatic reasons that you shouldn't do it? Well, for one, it's illegal in most states. In, I think, 45 out of the 50 states, there are laws against texting and driving, and Georgia is one of them. If you receive a citation for texting and driving, you get a pretty hefty fine. And also, if your insurance finds out that you got a citation for texting and driving, your insurance rates hike up. They go up a lot. And I know that most of you probably pay your own car insurance. And so I know you don't want to be paying that hiked insurance rate. Another reason is just consider your passengers. Driving somebody else along the road in your car, that's a pretty big responsibility, and I think sometimes we take that for granted. I think sometimes we overestimate the value of human life while we're driving, and that we think that answering that text is going to be, it's not a risk, and we can do it, but a human life is invaluable, and nothing is worth it if nothing else is worth as much as a human life. Another thing to consider is consider the cars around you. Consider motorcyclists. Consider bikers. You might not see them coming if you look down for a couple seconds. They're going just as fast as you. If you start swerving into the other lane, you have no idea until you look up, you hit another car. Or if you look down for your phone for a couple seconds, you look up, the car in front of you has put on their brakes, they're stopped, there's a red light. And all of a sudden you are smashed right into them. They could have kids in the back seat. And also consider the pedestrians. Consider people going for walks. Consider people going for runs. They just wanted to go out and get some exercise. But if you answer a text and you don't see them, they're crossing the road, you hit a red light, or maybe you turn right and it's a green light. They have the right of way, but you don't see them because you're looking down and you hit them. 80% of people can die if they get hit by a car going 40 miles an hour. And that's crazy. Most speed limits are 45 miles an hour, and that's most of the time the speed that you're traveling. But if you hit somebody, there's an 80% chance that they will die. Not just get injured, die. Okay. Oh, and you might also, if you're driving, consider this. Maybe you make a typo and you didn't realize it because you just sent a quick text, but you don't realize it until you get there. It changes the whole idea that you were trying to send in that text, and you have to explain to that person, oh, sorry, I made a typo, and it can get a little weird. Okay, so you understand that it's dangerous, but you know that you hear all this stuff and you're still going to impulsively do it. So how do you prevent yourself from actually texting and driving or picking up your phone? All right. Well, see, many people argue that why don't people just use their car's infotainment systems to use the navigation and do directions, or answer a call or answer a text? Well, okay, answering a call, that makes sense. Most cars can do that nowadays, but most of them can't answer text, and that's most of the time where the danger comes from. But luckily, a lot of new auto manufacturers have started including CarPlay or Android Auto, which is a system that mimics kind of what your phone does, but it puts it on your infotainment screen, and you can send texts, you can change the music, you can use your car's navigation, and it works a lot better than whatever your car's standard one was. And you can also get it on a lot of third-party systems. So if you have a really old car, you can switch out your car system and put in a screen and have CarPlay. And a lot of times that works really well, and it can be a good method to stop yourself from actually picking up your phone. Another thing you can do is to keep your phone out of your hands is, well, just put your phone in your glove box or your center console. You start your music, and you can change the music on your steering wheel, change the volume on your steering wheel. Just start it and put your phone in your center console, lock it away so you're not tempted. Even when you try to impulsively go to grab it, it's not going to be there. You can stop yourself. And you could also get a car mount, what mounts to the window or mounts to one of the air vents, and that way you don't have to actually pick up your phone. It's hanging right there. You don't have to look into your lap for navigation or pick it up to look. You can just look to the left or right to see the navigation or change the music or whatever it might be. And there are, if you really want to hold yourself accountable, there are apps out there that can help you turn off your data and not get text so you're not tempted to do it, and they can even track your cell phone usage while you're in the car and tell you how many times you picked your phone up. And last year, Apple even implemented a feature called Do Not Disturb While Driving that you can either turn on manually or you can have it turn on automatically when you get in the car and start driving, where it puts your phone on Do Not Disturb, and if someone tries to text you, the phone will automatically send a text to that person saying, hey, this person has Do Not Disturb while driving on. They'll answer your text once they get to their location, and that person will understand. So, distracted driving is one of the leading causes of not only vehicle-related deaths, but all deaths in general around the world, and nobody is above it. So do your part to put your phone down while you're driving. It's not hard to pull over. If the text is really that important, pull over and pull into a parking lot and send that text. Because someone's life, whether it be yours, your passengers, other drivers, or pedestrians, it's really not worth it. Because someone's life is worth a lot more than just answering that text or answering that email. And do your part in encouraging your friends and your family to put their phones down too. You can ask politely if you're in the car with them and they start texting. Hey, you can say, hey, I'll send that text for you, or what song do you want to play? I'll do it. Do your part. It can wait. Thank you.